Kelce's healthy, he is still more than capable of working as fantasy's most productive tight end.
So the reality is with Chris Olave, super talented player, love him, but why would you pay all that extra to have Chris Olave?
2024, Joe Burrow will be a fantasy football MVP.
Can Josh Allen be trusted as QB number one?
Can nobody make the sunshine when it's gonna rain?
The NFL season starts almost exactly a month from now, and the excitement is already building tremendously. But with the NFL season comes something else that football fans are excited for as well. Fantasy football is a tradition amongst millions of people across the world, whether it's friends competing against one another or strangers playing for tons of money. Here in this video, I'll give you guys some players that you should draft and some players you should avoid for your fantasy league. Starting with a player you guys should avoid drafting is Travis Kelce. Kelce is projected as the first tight end to go off the board in the 3rd round, but picking him this high is borderline ridiculous. This is not me saying that Kelce is not going to be good this year, because he is going to be one of the best tight ends in fantasy. He still has Patrick Mahomes, he's still the first option on that team, and he's still going to get his touches no matter what. Why you should avoid Travis Kelce is there are so many great tight ends that are going much later down the board. Guys like Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid, and so many other tight ends are projected to go in the later rounds. So using a 3rd round pick on Kelce is kind of a waste. Even the 2nd best tight end last year, Evan Ingram, is projected to go in the 6th round, which is great value for a guy like that. If you want to address your tight end situation, do it in the later rounds, and use those early rounds to draft key skill positions instead. Avoid Travis Kelce early on, and bank on the tight ends later down the board. Now going to somebody that should definitely be on your team this year, you gotta pick up Joe Burrow. Last year, Joe Burrow was projected as the 4th best quarterback, over guys like Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert, and there's a reason for that. Burrow had been to a Super Bowl before, he became more familiar with his weapons, and each of his main position players got better. But due to injuries in his calf and his wrist, he couldn't play to his full potential last year. Now that he's gotten the recovery he's needed, Burrow will be one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy this year. He's projected as the 7th best quarterback this year, and is projected to go around the 6th or 7th round. So getting a guy of Burrow's caliber that late is a steal in my opinion. He still has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as his weapons, so best believe he's going to be lacing NFL defenses with these guys. If you don't like to spend a high pick on a quarterback but still want the same quality, Joe Burrow is your guy. The next guy you should avoid is Chris Olave from the New Orleans Saints. Olave is ranked as the 10th best receiver on the board and is projected to go late 2nd, early 3rd round. But that's an overstatement and every NFL fan knows it. They have proven stars like DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, and Brandon Ayuk ranked lower than him, which is ridiculous. Not only is Olave ranked a lot higher than he should be, his quarterback is a check down master that never wants to throw the ball deep. Derek Carr loves to throw to his running backs and tight ends more than his receivers, so drafting Olave with the projection he has is terrible. If you want a number 1 receiver, go for Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, or Nico Collins instead, not a wide receiver whose quarterback can't throw it 10 yards down the field. I definitely believe that Olave can be a top 10 receiver in the league, but until he can get a good quarterback, I don't see it happening. The next guy you should pick in your fantasy draft is Zay Flowers from the Baltimore Ravens. Flowers was a rookie last year and took off as the top pass catcher of the best team in the league. Now he's going into his 2nd year and looking to take that next step as one of the league's top wide receivers. He's ranked as the 24th best receiver on the board and is projected to go in the 6th round of fantasy drafts. Imagine getting the best receiver on the best team as your wide receiver 2 or flex option. That doesn't sound too bad at all. The only bad thing about it is the Ravens did just sign Derrick Henry and have a run-dominant offense. But when Lamar passes the ball, best believe he's going to Flowers with it. He's not going to cost you a lot, and he has a lot to offer on your fantasy team this year. It's a win-win scenario. The last guy you have to avoid in your fantasy drafts is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the consensus first quarterback off the board, and is well deserving of it too. He's been the best fantasy quarterback the past 2 years due to his deep balls and running ability. He's projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round of your draft, but drafting him there would be bad for your team. The Bills lost many key weapons this offseason, not having receivers Stephon Diggs or Gabe Davis on his team anymore. His best wide receiver will be rookie Keon Coleman, which doesn't compare to Diggs or Davis at all. Allen still has guys like James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and Dawson Knox, but he doesn't have that deep ball threat that made him so good in fantasy anymore. Guys like Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and CJ Stroud are going a lot later than Allen, so look for those guys in the later rounds, and use that 3rd or 4th round pick you would have spent on Allen on a skill position. The last thing you guys should take in your draft is not specifically a player, but more so a draft strategy. Doing as many mock drafts as I've done, I've seen running backs fly off the board early on. What I've noticed with this is if you wait on running backs, you're going to be stuck with mediocre running backs as your RB2. In order to get the best team possible, you have to go with 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds at least. If you wait until the 5th round to pick your second running back, then you're stuck with guys like Kenneth Walker and Aaron Jones. Both great backs in real life, but terrible in fantasy. If you're debating to go wide receiver or running back in the early rounds, go running back, because there are going to be tons of wide receivers down the board that you can get great production out of. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.